It's the Lace Rhymes crew. It's the Lace Rhymes crew. 1 2 1 2. What it do? It's your boy skeetersteve, and welcome to another episode of Lace Rhymes for the culture and by the culture. Yes. We are back up in this joint, man. How y'all doing today, man? We're doing real good, real fine and good and handy dandy, man. Shout out to y'all, continue to show love on the previous videos. But also, too, before we get into what we're going to deep dive into, Lace Rhymes has a Patreon. I repeat, Lace Rhymes has a Patreon. The first 3 months are going to be free, and after that, it's going to be $5 so. But with the Lace Rhymes, you're going to get all types of contents, album reviews, discussion panels, stuff that's going to hit there before it goes anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So if you can support Dutch Bros, if you can support Starbucks, go ahead and support your boy. It's only $5 a month. It's not going to kill you, man. It's definitely not going to kill you, though, man. But I just want to just continue to say thank y'all for supporting and everything, and just continue to run it up. Tell a friend that tells a friend that tells a friend. All right. Man. It's like the more and more you listen to Kendrick and Drake, you start uncovering things. We're to the point where it has you go back and listen to Euphoria. And in the line of Euphoria, Kendrick says, "Have you ever walked your enemy down with a poker face?" And the more and more I kept going back, I'm like, dog, what did he mean by that? You know what I'm saying? So it led me to believe, start going and ciphering through a lot of their old catalogs and stuff. And then it stopped me dead in the tracks in Drake's Take Care, the Buried Alive interlude. Kendrick saw something, and he said something, and it sounded like he was talking some stuff in the Buried Alive interlude, which leads into Poetic Justice, where this beef has started happening. So to me, this beef didn't start at Control. No. It started long before, with Drake's Take Care album and somewhere in between the Club Paradise tour. And I got a little bit from it though, man, but seen another person on social media was on the same wavelength as me too, man. So, and his name is Tony. So, I'm gonna call Tony up and bring him on, man, so we could discuss this, because it sounds like Kendrick not only wrote Drake's verse in Poetic Justice, he ended up writing a part where Drake ended up dissing himself on that song. Oh my God! So yeah, we definitely gonna get into that, man. Though, so let me call my boy up, man. Let me call Tony up, man. So we could shoot into all of this, so we could both break this down together, though. But if y'all haven't, check out his TikTok, Decoding Kendrick and Drake. It's dope. I'm not gonna lie, it's dope, and it's gonna make you raise an eyebrow at a certain thing. So, man, let me call this man. Let me get him up.
What up, though?
Yo, Tony, what it do, man? It's your boy Steve, man. You on the Lace Rhymes podcast, Brody. What up?
Thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate you.
Nah, man. Nah, I thank you, man, because, to me, it just kind of feels like it's only a few of us that's out there that went deep into the rabbit hole, but it was kind of like, how did this go over our heads?
I ask myself that all the time. When I tell you, when we first sat down to do the first episode that's on YouTube, Decoding Drake and Kendrick, we were going off of just the lyrics. There's no double XL article, there's no source article, there's no Twitter post, there's no Facebook, nothing. There's 0 Reddit threads on this subject. There was nothing. I thought I was crazy, because when I was going through when I first found that the greatest, when I found the hip hop holy grail, I was literally just listening to other rappers' music. I was going down a Pac rabbit hole. I was going down a Biggie rabbit hole. Nas, Jay-Z, Eminem, Kanye, like you name it. Like I was studying everyone's music because I was unemployed. Like I had all this time on my hands. And literally I got into like the Kendrick stuff and I just sat up one night. I'm like, this dude, Drake, did not write any of this music. He wrote none of these lines. And then you just start pulling on that string and you really have to know like that it's coded in order for you to get the message. Once you figure out it's coded, the messages are clear as day. So I don't blame people for not being up on this. It was a mastery of wordplay. It was a mastery of the human language. Like Kendrick Lamar is a poet. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of people get that.
No, absolutely. I think they don't. They really don't. And then once you start really digging deep and start going down into the hole, like for me, like I was flabbergasted. Literally fucking flabbergasted when I went back and listened to the Buried Alive interlude. And in the interlude, I mean, I'm just listening to it. But the line that stood out to me when he said, Black Maybach, 40 pulled up Jeep, no doors, all that nigga was missing was Aaliyah. Felt like an initiation, a reality living in the Matrix. We talk casually about the industry and how the women be the tastemakers for the shit that we making. And when he said that, I was like, oh my God, like how?
I know. And then take it a step further. How does Drake and his people allow him to say that on Drake's album? Do you see what I'm saying? Like he's comparing him to R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Like it's insane to me. Like it's insane to me.
It really very is insane because at that time, and see, like when you said that opened another door, because to me around that time when he said that, it was kind of giving me like reminiscence when he did the song Vanity Slave Part 2 with Gucci Mane. So so that's what I was getting. But when you look at it now in retrospect and when he said that line, it hits totally different. Like
the one that always stood out for me was like even the opening, like that opening couple of bars, right? Like he literally says, he's like, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm embarrassed. I'm feeling like a suicidal terrorist. React like an infant whenever you're mentioned. And Drake during the beef, like Drake's like, oh yeah, he's just jealous of me. He's jealous of me. No, like he's literally saying like, I don't recognize myself and I feel like an extremist because he reacts that way whenever hip hop is mentioned. You know what I mean? Like he's not talking about Drake. He's talking about hip hop. He's talking about the game. So
right.
It's so crazy to me. Like, and again, I don't think people are accustomed to this level of wordplay and just how deep like these words are. And that's the thing that always drives me nuts, when talking, poetic justice with people is that people will say it's not that deep you're reaching. It's not that deep you're reaching. Quick glazing Kendrick. It's like, no, words have meaning. And when you say these words in this succession, that's what this means. It really do. And like, just unraveling these things, it makes the line in Euphoria hit so much harder. And I mean, we were all breaking down in Euphoria, like literally, like my opinion. I know everybody loved Not Like Us, but I think Euphoria is better than Not Like Us. That's just me. Yeah, that's just me. But the line, you know what? Mine out of the whole thing is Meet the Grams. Like, Meet the Grams to me is like, oh my God, that's cinema.
Oh no, it really did. It definitely did though. But the line that now it makes totally sense in Euphoria after when he said, "Okay, nigga, let's play." Have you ever walked your enemy down with a poker face?
Yeah, dude.
Dog, like,
and then I'll hit that button. I'll tell you the one that always, like, the one that really stands out for me, and it happened during the Super Bowl show. It's when he goes, like, he's rapping, and he says, I forget, like, what part of Euphoria he was in, but he says, like, oh God, what did he say? I forget what he's saying, but he basically like stops the performance, like right after, like almost like he takes you up to the point where he's leaving you a breadcrumb back to Poetic Justice and back to like the whole Drake thing. And then he stops the performance and he goes, I know y'all play sleep. Like he's telling the audience, he's telling the listener, he's telling the viewer, like the media is sleeping on the lines that are leading people back to Poetic Justice. I still don't understand why like the bigger media figures who get paid a lot of money to cover this stuff haven't asked, like the simplest question, right? Like Ebro was sitting there with him during the Super Bowl, like interview, like the lead up to the Super Bowl show. Ebro's sitting there. Ebro is like hip hop, like radio royalty, right? Like a dude who's juiced in to like my industry, which is broadcast media. How in the world do you sit there with the biggest artist on the planet and you don't look at him and first question go, so Kendrick, when was the first time you shot you a Drake? And follow up question, who's the homie that told you to aim it this way? Like, because it's literally like they're sleeping on the lines. They're sleeping on the music that's bringing them back. And that's what I think he ends up touching on. And I know I'm getting a little off track, but like, I think that's what he's touching on Whacked Out Murals. Sure, someone whacked out his mural. Like someone, he faced that in LA. But he's also talking about the media whacking out his art in real time. You know what I mean? So like, when you're talking Kendrick, like you got to understand, like this dude, like in his vocabulary and his ability to use these words is insane.
No, it is. No, it definitely is, man. And when I say, dog, you're cooking, you're definitely cooking. So this leads into the conversation that we're about to go ahead and let's just go ahead and dig into this rabbit hole, man. How did you figure out this Poetic Justice diss? How?
Okay, so I'm up, right? Like it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sleeping well because again, I'm unemployed.
Right. We were all unemployed.
Yeah, you know. And again, I'm just listening. I'm listening to the music, and I literally like. It's like I don't know if it was divine timing or what it was, because remember, like I told you when we first started talking, like I was studying everyone's music, so like I can listen and I can know like a Jay-Z style or a Tupac style. You know what I mean? Like their cadence, their rhythm, like how they rap, what they talk about, like everything like that. And just listening to Good Kid, Mad City, and it's coming up on Poetic Justice, and I literally like stopped. I was like, wait, like replay that, like just the idea, like, and then it just like it hit me, and I'm like, and I had known that they were taking subliminals at each other, like and stuff like that, like you know, for the few years prior to 2020. But like, I just literally like it hit me, and I was like, oh my God, he didn't write a word of that, and that would be Poetic Justice. And I remember people talking like, you know, I remember Dre did an interview, like as like the lead up to Good Kid, Mad City, and Dr. Dre is on the record saying like, I still like it could be 50 years down the line, I still don't think people are going to catch what Kendrick actually did on this record. You know what I mean? And on the album. Yeah. And this is part of it, right? Like, and it's not just getting it to do this to Drake, right? It's not just a Drake diss. Kendrick is really exposing how the record industry really works and the big machine behind it. But yeah, man, it was just literally like it came out of nowhere. It was like, oh my God, I don't think Drake wrote this. And then you start reading the lyrics, and then it turns into this whole thing where it's like, man, this isn't just a single verse that Kendrick threw Drake. This is a love letter that Kendrick wrote to the culture, to hip hop, and he's getting Drake to deliver the message, and that would be Poetic Justice. So it just took on like a whole other thing.
No, go ahead, keep going.
And if you're listening to the album, sorry, and then we'll get back on it. But like, if you're listening to the album, where's the perfect place for shade? Like, if you're gonna shade somebody, where would the perfect place for shade be? And it's under Money Trees. So in the song Money Trees, he's saying, you're looking like an easy come up, you bitch. A silver spoon, I know you come from, you bitch. And that's a lifestyle that we never knew. And he says, you know, he finishes it, go out of reverence for the revenue. Like Drake would do anything for money. You know, Holly Berry or Hallelujah, Hollywood or Salvation. You know, pick your poison, tell me what you're doing. Tell me who you are. Yeah. Because everybody's going to respect the shooter. Everyone respects the music industry. but the one in front of the gun lives forever. The artist lives forever.
Yep,
and
exactly.
That's a reference to the Poetic Justice music video where Kendrick's the one who ends up getting shot while Drake's calling up the girl.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
The layered artistry at work. Like Drake, yes, Drake got worked like a stripper pole when it came to all of this.
No,
but it also speaks to Kendrick's like brilliance, like the way the man thinks. He really is the book.
No, he really is. And then like for me, I ended up like what I said. I went back and I listened to that 3 times with the background music, and then I turned around and listened to it 3 times without the background music and all the vocals. Just pure vocals. And then when you get to the Drake's part, like to me, I'm like, okay, he starts off. Then when Drake start getting into the line with the young East African girl, you're too busy fucking with your other man. I was trying to put you on game, put you on a plan, and take you to your mama to the motherland. When he got to that part, I was like, yo, he is sounding like Kendrick. He didn't sound like Drake. He is sounding like Kendrick. And the more you get into the verse, it was like, nah, there's no way Drake wrote this. Like, there's no way. And then, because like what you saying, like being dedicated to a love letter in hip hop. And then when you keep going, when he said, when you figure out it's all right here in the city, you don't have to run where we come from. That sounds like a poetic justice. You were so new to this, but goddamn, you adjusted. I mean, I write poems in these songs dedicated to the fun and sex. So when he said that line, dedicated to the fun and sex, dog, he making you talk about yourself.
Right.
He is making you talk about yourself. He didn't literally bait you in and made you talk about yourself and the type of music that you're putting out in the industry.
Yes. And think about this, right? Like, because again, once you start pulling on this string, like it doesn't stop. Think about this. It takes a lot of money to build Drake into what he is, which, and again, just a disclaimer, I know that I'm white speaking on a black man's lyrics. Like, I understand. that. Like, I understand, like, you were in the live the other night, like, some people just aren't ready to hear it, and that's cool. So to all my aunties and all the uncles out there, I know, I understand, like, you saw, like, man, I
was there.
He was like, go break down golf. Like, tell me about, he's like, tell me about slavery.
But hip-hop is for everyone, and it's always been like that, because just like I told people, like, before I made the transition into podcasting and doing media, I was a b-boy for 23 years, so I've been a part of the culture since day one, and then making that transition, it's easy. But then again, you have people like, we have people that just, that just here for a good time, and people like us that likes to study the culture, study the history, study all of these things that took place within the culture. And then like when you really look at it, like from that time period, from like 2012 to like 2016, 17, yes, we were having all these amazing albums and amazing mixtapes. But after 2017, the music kind of got bad. Like it went into a low frequency where people like we're into the point where it's all like, okay, you're scrutinizing people like Kendrick, Cole, or people that has real talent and real bars. Y'all not giving them the time of day though, but let a Drake or a Block Boy JB, like these dudes that's coming out with these songs, oh, y'all giving them the light. Y'all are definitely giving them the light. And then now, like, where we're seeing the culture shifting about getting back to where rap once was, oh, people are upset. They are really upset.
Oh, my God. And I understand, like, the other night when we were in that live, I understand Unk's reaction. I really do. Because I, like, being in media, I firmly disagree with the way Aiden Ross conducts himself.
Oh, yeah.
I disagree with the way that some of these dudes who are white, who speak on culture, who talk about rap, conduct themselves. I'm not into the culture vulture thing. That's why, like, when we found this, me and Des sat down, my fiance, we literally sat down and we were like, this is so incredible. Like, we were literally like, this is amazing. Like this is the holy grail of hip hop. We can't, like, in good conscience, make money from this. You know what I mean? It's just free game. Like, that's when it was like, because it was like, well, should we monetize the YouTube? Should we start monetizing our TikTok? It's like, no, because, like, if I'm speaking on this, I wouldn't feel comfortable making money from it, period. You know, like, that's just who I am. So, yeah, man, like, it's so crazy. Like, and coming back to that Drake verse, like, the one that got me was, he's like, I really hope you play this because, oh, girl, you test my patience.
Yep.
Like, and remember, it's Kendrick speaking through Drake now. You know what I mean? Like, I really hope you play this because, oh, girl, you test my patience with all these seductive photographs and all these one-off vacations. You've been taken. They're not taking vacations. He's saying you've been taking. Like, you've been had, you've been got.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Clearly a lot for me to take in. It don't make sense. Like, Kendrick has to process what is happening with this. You know what I mean? And it's so good. Like, and that, again, you know, pulling on that string of, okay, well, who is Drake? You know, and I'm telling you, I think when you coming back to Buried Alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick talks about, like, basically, like, Drake was the one that was going to be chosen. Like, they were going to put, you know, and I use the term industry plant on a video that I just made. And, you know, I know people are like, well, industry plants don't exist. Well, what is a plant? A plant is something that you tend to water and nurture and grow into something, right? Like,
right.
And if you look at the record industry as a garden, you know, a lot of these artists get shelved. Like, they shelved Mike Posner. They shelved artists before. They don't tend to them anymore. They just rip them out of the garden.
Yeah,
they
do.
You know what I mean? So for Kendrick to pull this off at this junction in his career, coming back to Poetic Justice, it's incredible. It's incredible because now it's etched forever, right? Like, he got Drake on wax to say this shit, right?
Right, which is crazy.
Which is crazy. Crazy bar. Like, insane. And then, like, using Shireen, you know, at the end of the track, as, like, a metaphor for hip-hop where, like, you know, the gangbangers are like, you over here for Shireen? Like, you over here for hip-hop? Like, if you don't tell me where he's from, it's a rap. Like, he's literally, like kicking Drake out of rap. He's kicking Drake out of the car. It's snatching him out of the car.
And you know what? And you know what, Toad? Not to cut you off, man. I got to give you credit for that because even though Good Kid, Mad City is a story, but the way that you said that, bro, it's like that is another angle that us as consumers, we're not seeing. And I think that is dope. Like, when you really think about that, like what you saying, he gets there, he gets jammed up by the people, and the people that he get jammed up by is the real hip hop purists.
Yes, 100%. Because what are you doing here? And Kendrick speaks on this in that interview with Zane Lowe. I think it was like right before To Pimp a Butterfly came out, or it might have been Damn. He's like, you don't play with this. Like, this is culture. Like, this is so important. Stop fucking around with this game. Like, don't do it. But the industry kept doing it. You know what I mean? They kept putting up the Drake. And then allowed Drake to be a culture vulture, right? Allowing him to steal music from all these different artists and stuff like that, all these up and coming artists. And I'm telling you, it's just like, I don't know Kendrick from a hole in the wall. And again, I know I'm white speaking on a black man's lyrics, but like, you can see it don't sit right with him. You can tell, like, he's so open about it. You know what I mean? Like, just his disdain for the industry. It really does, man. And just like, you know, just going back again, like, even in the line in the Buried Alive, like what Kendrick said, bright lights and Rihanna as a lady friend. My voice is similar. Women love when you're my type. And when you're winning from everything that your palm right. Put her in the Palms Hotel, Sin City, Devil in a Dress, Platinum Chanel, live in the ambiance because the audience one day said I would do it. I was like, ugh. So instead of a verse being read, I'm going to go get some head off the strength of my music. So instead of selling out and reading other people's raps, I'm just going to use my head. I'm going to outthink the industry. I'm going to outthink I'm going to outthink the Drake. I'm going to outthink the Drake handlers, the real dudes push the industry. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get some head off the strength of my music because he's relying on his message. But you got to know, like, that it's coded. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Literally, like, and it comes even before then too. Like, if you really were to like crack open the Kendrick stuff, because now I'm just nerding out. Like, you want to go listen to what Kendrick really sounded like? Go listen to the Heart Part 1 and the Heart Part 2. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. And even going even a step further, like when he came back out, and this is just me, I think he was just at that point was just so sick of Drake what he was doing. I think people overlook family ties when he said, and he addressed it to people on Family Ties that I think people overlook. So first of all, he addressed No Name because remember, Kendrick and Cole, when the whole George Floyd thing happened, they were out in the streets protesting. And No Name, she decided to open up her mouth and say, oh yeah, I hate these fake rappers and these wannabe activists. Cole did Snow in the Bluff, and he got slack for. But like what you said, the way that Kendrick is so cerebral, when he said, I am the Omega, PG Lane, don't you address me as 4 letters. Greatest of all time. I've been ducking the pandemic. Been dealing with these overnight activists. So when he says overnight, he's already shooting the shot towards No Name. Like, yo, you're not finna sit up here and call me this. But then again, this is gonna go over your head. And then the part when he said, and I think too, I was like, oh my God. I was all like, he's gonna take somebody down. When he said, when I come up killing everybody outside, no one is not going to be safe. He warned us in 2021. And then again in 2022, in Miss Morale, Silent Hill. You're funny, dog. Pickable. You can't be behind your money, dog. That was the last warning shot.
Yep, like, don't play with me. Like, just leave me be. He's up there, like, for me, he's up there with, like, an Eminem or, like, a Ghostface Killer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just dudes that I would never think to utter their name. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're at that point with their wordplay. Like, you listen to Eminem, like, 20 years ago, like, raw, rugged Eminem, it's nuts. You listen to the stuff M's producing today, like, you just hear the evolution of the wordplay where you're like, oh my God, how are you hitting me with a quadruple entendre in only 2 bars? Like, how are you doing this? You know what I mean? And again, like, there's a big difference, coming back to like Poetic Justice, there's a big difference between the artists that the industry push and force on us and real hip hop artists. And I really do think, like, Cat Williams opened up a portal, and now there's, like, this line of delineation. You know, how Cat Williams said, there's God's side, and then there's that side. Because, I mean, like, because when you go back and look at this retrospect, and then, of course, you have everybody that, like Drake put him on. That was Kendrick's first tour. And I keep telling everybody, that was not Kendrick's first tour. His first official tour was with The Game, the LAX tour, where him and Black Hippie and Nipsey Hussle opened up for The Game. To me, this is how I looked at it. When Kendrick was catching all that steam in 2010, 2011, when Snoop, Dre, and all the West Coast OGs came on the stage and crowned him as the prince and you know, in becoming the king of the West Coast. Drake saw that. He saw that, and then he saw what A$AP Rocky was doing in New York. And what a lot of people don't know, A$AP Rocky is he's one of us. He's like a huge hip hop historian head, like, for real. He's a nerd. He's a nerd.
Yeah. He is a nerd. So to me, I'm looking at it as, I'm Drake. Okay, I grabbed this dude from the East. I grabbed this dude from the West. I bring them with me. People are gonna look at me as I'm culture, even though, like, you know, I'm putting on this persona. I'm putting on this front, and for some strange reason, like, you know, Kendrick caught it first, and then as years progressed, A$AP Rocky caught it a little bit after. Something went on that Club Paradise tour where Kendrick saw something where he didn't like.
He didn't like it, and I'm telling you, it had to have been either something nefarious that Drake was doing, maybe with underage girls, who knows, or he just saw him disrespecting the art form and saw the Club Paradise tour for what it was. The industry wanted access to the hip hop heads like you and me who listen to Kendrick, who listen to A$AP Rocky. They wanted access to those audiences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So of course he's like, so okay, you stick him on a tour with A$AP Rocky, you stick him on a tour with KendrickLamar. Now you've got Compton and New York both listening to Drake. And they're thinking, and they're being hoodwinked into thinking that Drake is something that he's not. So
exactly.
it didn't fit right with Kendrick. But for him to sit there and be like a serial killer and think, no, I'm going to get I'm going to get ahead with my music. I'm going to use this. I'm going to pimp this butterfly, and I'm going to use it to my benefit. And to get him to think that they're friends and we're cool. Sure, you can put me on your album. You want to come on mine? Oh, yeah, like, it's a concept album, bro. Like, you got to remember, like, Drake is thinking that they're friends. I could just see the conversation. He calls him up and he's like, hey, like, I got a spot for you on my album. I'm going to send you the reference track. Keep it just like this because it's a concept album.
Yeah.
I need you to say this. And Drake doing what Drake does, taking verses from people. I'm telling you, like, I've been going back and forth in the comments. Like, people are like, there's no way. I'm like, dog, I've heard reference tracks where Drake isn't changing a single word. I'm telling you, and this is later in his career.
Right.
He took this and he was baited hook, line, and sinker. I'm telling you.
That's facts. No, that's really facts. And then going back again, like, back into the Buried Alive, and that's where we're like, man, like, I'm like, and I told a couple of my homeboys, like, once I started breaking it down a little bit, they was like, yo, now you finna make me listen to Buried Alive and Poetic Justice again. And I'm just all like, yo, really think about it. Ever since Poetic Justice, I was all like, and I said this for me, I'm all like, I done seen Kendrick live 3 times, watched any tour that he did on YouTube. He never performs that song.
He performed it once, and that was at Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
And he skipped Drake's verse.
Yes. And he never did it again. So like when you look at everything in the totality, Control was just like the tip of the iceberg. But this really started from Take Care and the Buried Alive and the Club Paradise tour.
And then coming back right to what he says on Euphoria, like the very first time I shot me at Drake, the homie that told me to aim it this way. I didn't point down enough today. I'll show you. I learned from those
mistakes.
Why? So everybody points to Control though, but we got Control. We tucked the sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes. And then he high-fived Schoolboy Q, and he says, ha,
joke's on you, high five, bulletproof. Ooh, your shots would never penetrate. Oh my God.
Pin a tail on the donkey, boy, you benefit. He's calling him a party game. Like, but everybody's like, no, it starts on Control. No. Then when did he tuck him back into his sensitive pajama clothes? When was the first time that it went over everyone's head? It's on Poetic Justice. It's on Buried Alive. And that was like, again, just like pulling at that string, right? You just start thinking like, okay, now look at the way the industry moves. Now look at the way that some of these dudes conduct themselves with NDAs. I'm telling you, I can't confirm it, but I think there's an NDA out on Kendrick not being able to perform that song.
You know what?
Right. Or any of that.
Right. And I believe, and I agree with you 100% on that, because when you look at it in totality, and then when you fast forward, okay, we get Control, Drake's upset, Drake drops Nothing Was the Same, and I tell people, I'm all like, I think that's one of his classic albums, because I went to that concert. Respect is respect. And then you get into the language where he says, yo, shit is not that inspiring. So he says that. And then a year and a half later, we get to Pimp a Butterfly, we get King Kunta, and he said on King Kunta, I was rapping with a ghostwriter. What the fuck happened? Oh no, I swear I wouldn't tell.
I wasn't tell. Yes.
But most of y'all share a bunk like y'all a 2-man sale.
Yes, like you're and then that alludes to the NDA because he's like, I was gonna kill a couple rappers, but they did it to themselves.
Everybody's suicidal. Yes,
because they didn't even need my help. Like, he's already exposing himself for being a fraud. He's taking verses from people. So now all it takes is one person to find the nugget, right? Read slow and you'll find gold mines in these lines. Sincerely yours truly. It's not sincerely Drake and Kendrick. Yours truly. And right before you go blind, remember why I did this. It comes back to Tupac. He's carrying that torch that we just talked about. He's carrying on that legacy. He is the king of the West Coast. He is the king of this rap thing. And that's why on Control, he's like, one hand, I juggle them both. Like, I'm Machiavelli's offspring. I'm the king of New York. Like, I'm telling you, it's in the lyrics. But for some reason, the media and a lot of the way that they're moving and the way that some of these content creators on TikTok are moving, they are actively sleeping on bars that are bringing you back to this. And to me, it doesn't sit right with my spirit. So that's why it's like, when I caught Poetic Justice, we were like, okay, we got to make a video. We just got to put it out there. And then for 4 years, we didn't touch it. Like, I stopped making Kendrick content. It was like Des, my fiance, was like, it's just an Easter egg for people. Like, it was always our favorite project that we did together. But it was like, if somebody was digging through my content and they found it, it'd be like something cool to find, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I saw it shift, right? Like, I saw like that drop. And I'm like, oh shit, like, or a first person shooter drops, and I'm like, oh, okay, but like, you're saying that you're in this league with Kendrick, the big three, and you don't even have him on the record. I knew it was coming. I'm like, this ain't gonna sit right.
Right.
And then just hearing that record where he goes, it's up, like,
right. When Like That, look, when Like That came out, I said this on all my social media sites. Kendrick just declared World War III. He literally declared World War III. And for the record, too, while we're on here, man, let me pitch something to you, man, and let me know if I'm going too far or not. And I was on another panel, and this kind of made sense to me. The table has always been Kendrick and Drake. Cole has been musically and lyrically frustrated between that, where to the point Kendrick never mentioned anything about a big three. Drake never mentioned anything about a big three. The only thing he mentioned close to a big three is when he did the interview with B. Dot and Elliot when they asked him, it was all like, okay, what's this going to be like within the next 10 years? He was all like, because they consider Kendrick, Cole, and Drake as a three-headed monster. So Drake was all like, oh, okay, like, I'm going to see, like, I wonder where our career is going to go within the next 3 years. Cole always been the one that has been mentioned in this big three conversation. And Cole didn't start woofing until the Revenge of the Dreamers Volume 3 on the middle child, where he said, niggas is counting me out. I'm loading my clip. But if I take a rapper out, it's not going to be... Oh, it's not going to be for clout or no name. So to me, I felt like Cole inserted himself, where to the point, Cole never had a seat to begin with. It's always been them two. It's always been them two.
I love J. Cole. I really do. I respect the way that he moves in the game, like producing your own stuff, writing your own stuff. Like, dudes like that, I always have like a lot of respect for, because it is incredibly difficult what these guys do, right? And then to get mass appeal from it, it's even harder. You know? So I always respected the way that J. Cole moved, but it comes back to that argument you hear on the internet all the time of like, you're saying don't play with my name. You're saying you're ready to push the button. But when you get pressed, you delete, might delete later. You know what I mean? Like, you take it down, and it's like, I can look at it from, like, as a listener, a lover of hip hop. I know Kendrick and Drake would never, Kendrick and Cole would never get to the level of like a Tupac and Biggie, right? It would just be some lyrical shit, right? Because they've learned the lessons that they needed to learn, that these artists needed to learn. It's like, we're not gonna get wrapped up in a rap image. You know what I mean? Like, it can just be verbal sparring and that's it. But Cole, and I'm telling you, I think what happened is that Cole got that call. I believe it was from Schoolboy Q. Schoolboy Q calls J. Cole, and he's like, I'm telling you, you don't want to get involved. And I'm telling you, I think he told him, like, this man has already been cooked. Like, it happened. Like, because TDE knows. Like, you can't tell me that, like, J-Rock doesn't know, or Absol doesn't know, or Schoolboy Q. Like, they were in the booth together, like, grinding. Like, Kendrick talks about it on GNX, just grinding with my brothers. Like,
right.
It was us versus the world, no one above us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, and then you come back to, like, looking at Good Kid, Mad City. Look at the features that Kendrick has on there. Drake is the odd man out.
Yeah.
It's MC8, it's Mary J., who's, you know, like an R&B soul singer.
Yeah, Anna Wise was on there.
Anna Wise,
yeah.
But, like, in terms of rappers, it's literally J-Rock, MC8, and Drake. Who's the odd man out?
Yeah, Drake was the odd man out. Hey, you cooking.
So again, I just kind of look at it like, I'm thinking Schoolboy Q called J. Cole and was like, you don't want to do this right now. Like if you guys want to go to blows and really decide, you know, on this, like, who's better, J. Cole or Kendrick, wait your turn. Let this man cook. Let this man get rid of Drake and get this man out of hip hop, because he's dumbing down our lyrics, dumbing down the waters. Like, dude, like we talked about it just a little bit ago, like the music industry changed after 2016, 2017. The bars got really dumb.
Yeah, it really did.
It's why I can't listen to, like, certain artists. You know what I mean? Like, I am very selective with what I choose to listen to, because I don't subscribe to that low vibe shit.
No, that's a fact. Like, everything that you're saying, bro, like you're hitting it on the nail, and then everything that we're covering right now, dog, like, it's gonna make people listen to Euphoria again. Cause I mean, we were catching everything, but not necessarily catching everything. That's why when I mentioned earlier, when he said, have you ever walked your enemy down with a poker face? And then that smile on the Super Bowl, it makes sense now.
It all makes sense. And again, coming back to the great American game, right? Now, let's help land the plane for Kendrick, right?
Okay, yeah. We're about to land the plane. Let's land the plane.
The plane is, guess who the Uncle Tom or Uncle Sam is? It's Drake, telling him to rap a certain way. The girls be the tastemakers for the shit we're making. It's on Buried Alive. Like, Drake is also Uncle Sam, telling him to rap a certain way, telling him to move this certain way. That's the whole game. That's the great American game. Drake sat him down, trying to tell him how to move, and it didn't sit right with him. And it's been a 14-year odyssey, but he finally got to the biggest stage and literally stayed true to himself as a man, which you have to respect. A lot of people getting in that scenario will just play the hit. They would stick with the DNAs, they would stick with the humbles, they would stick with the all right, you know, and just stay in that lane. But he was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to expose the industry.
Right, because
if you're... Yep.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, man.
Because if you're on the wavelength of this happening, now that's the big picture. That's what Kendrick is trying to expose. That's what he's trying to get people to see. Yes, it is about culture and putting on for the community. Yes, of course, it's going to be extremely pro-black. Like, of course it is. And it's supposed to make white people uncomfortable. But guess what? If we're going to get to the next part and actually grow as human beings and change our country into what it should look like, it's going to require a lot of white people coming to terms with a lot of things that our ancestors have done. Not my ancestors, because my grandparents came over on the boat in the 40s, but, like, you're going to have to understand the history. You're going to have to understand that, like, there's some fucked up shit that happened. So, yeah, like, you can take those messages from the show, but really, for me, it was just the chef's kiss, because the Uncle Tom, the Uncle Sam, you know, and then to have it be, you know, Samuel L., who plays, you know, one of those on the Django, you know what I mean? Like, that parallel was, that connection was easy. Like, as soon as Des saw that, and I give Des all the credit in the world, she was one of the first people to see that. She goes, yeah, Uncle Sam is Drake. Tell him to rap a certain way. Buried Alive. And I'm like, yep. And it came full circle. And there it is, right? scorekeeper, deduct one life. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Mr. Lamar, tighten up, rap a certain way.
Right.
That because Drake is a gatekeeper. Drake is a gatekeeper to the industry. In order to get access to it, you got to go through him. Period.
Right, and
you got to work with him.
Right.
You got to let him bite. You got to let him bite your sound and give him songs.
Exactly.
And that's what Kendrick's trying to expose. He's trying to expose the way the record industry and the media work together to manipulate and control the population.
No, that's a fact. And then I literally, like, kid you not, like, on my page, I just dropped a clip a couple of days ago too, and even just shouting out the homie Jalopy, because I was on one of his panels, and he said something that was moving. People like us, what we do, we control the culture. So anytime when somebody is trying to spin a narrative now, we are stopping them dead in their tracks. We wasn't able to save like a Pac or a Snoop, like when they were going through what they were going through in the 90s, because it was just only news outlets and they were saying whatever that they felt like they wanted to say and spin the media. But now it's 2025 where we have all of these content creators and these podcasters and these people in these media spaces. Dog, we are definitely stopping them dead in their tracks, because anything...
Right, and they don't know how to react.
Right, yeah.
And then I'll take it a step further. Look at their reaction to us coming together on a platform to talk to one another. They wanted to shut down TikTok.
Yeah.
They have lost control of narrative. They have lost control because what happened was they got too old, they got too fucking fat, and they don't understand the internet. That's all it is. Like anytime I see a major problem, like especially in media, it's because an old white man doesn't understand the internet.
Yes.
For instance, I work in radio broadcasting, or should I say work in radio broadcasting. I've been out of a job since I got on the internet and told people, hey, and this is no bullshit, you can look up the fucking timeline. I literally jump on TikTok and I'm like, hey, it starts here and you're all wrong. Like, stop talking about it like this because you're ruining this man's art. And then 20 days later, I lost my job at the radio station, haven't been able to find one since. But and not only that, but like, if you look at it through this lens of, oh, it's because an old white man is in charge, you know what I mean? This is why this looks this way. It literally comes down to that. So yeah, like anytime, I would see it, people getting upset with the Super Bowl halftime show, and it's like, good. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. That's artistry at work.
Yeah, exactly. And even just going back to like what people, we wanted the bops. I'm all like, do y'all realize just, what was it, like 3 years ago when he did the Super Bowl with Dr. Dre and Snoop? Do y'all forget, and I think people have selective memory, do y'all forget he performed Good Kid, Mad City? Do y'all forget that he performed All Right? That was back in 2022. Literally 2022. I'm all like, y'all really think that he was going to do that again? No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah. He wasn't going to do that again. There was no point in him to doing that. And to me, I loved everything about that show, and then just what he did. And I've been saying this since the beef has started and when the beef ended. And not even prior, before the beef. This is how I knew KendrickLamar fan base, like, it was growing, but this is how I knew. I was like, oh yeah, he's going to be that dude. When I went to the Mr. Morale show here in Las Vegas, me and my buddies walking up, I kid you not, Tony, I seen like 2 dudes with 3 of their kids, and the kids had to be no more than like 8 or 9 years old wearing Kendrick Lamar shirts. And when I seen that, I was like, oh my God. He got the kids. And anytime in hip hop culture, when you get the little kids, you win. You win. It's over. And this was Mr. Morale. This is not even GNX. He had the kids when he did Mr. Morale. This is 2022. And I'm all like, when I ask people, are you guys not seeing this? Like, do you not see this? And then when the beef popped off, now, you got every single kid that's even in elementary and middle school singing his songs now.
Rocking with them. And that's the power of staying true to being an actual artist versus taking verses from people. Drake could have avoided all of this. He could have went back to the lab, worked his shit out, you know what I mean? Like, tried to become an MC. But he didn't. he just played the game, coming back to the game reference, he just kept playing the game and kept doing what the industry wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, that's my big thing is, I keep coming back to, and I've had, I've been on panels and stuff like that, and I've asked the question, did we ever really like Drake? Or was it just bubblegum bullshit that was forced down our fucking throats and we had no choice?
Right. We're to the point we just tolerated it.
Yes, because that's what we were forced to do. Again, coming back to my background in radio, I know as soon as we get split a Drake record, whatever the two singles are, we're going to put that in rotation and we're going to play it probably anywhere between 15 or 20 times a day. That's almost once an hour, no matter what, new Drake. And that's been the formula since Drake first came out, right? So, and the reason why he sued UMG for payola is because that's how he built his own career.
Right.
That's you're snitching on yourself. I wouldn't have gone back and found the Buried Alive reference if you weren't snitching on yourself. So the irony of a man saying that he's a war general seasoned in preparation when you're not doing a great job at hiding the fact that this man cooked you on your own album. You're not doing a good job.
No, exactly, man. And even we're to the point where, when everything happened, I'm not like, dog, you're being a walking contradiction. How you gonna get mad at us content creators, but yet you're telling people like Casanat, stay on stream, stay online. Literally stay online. And I'm all like, for me, I'm all like, now I can wholeheartedly say this. At first I was like, I can't speak for nobody else, but I can speak for everybody. When all of us was covering the Drake and the KendrickLamar beef, oh yeah, YouTube, my numbers went up. My numbers went up because of the fact that everybody wanted to see everybody's different perspectives on the songs and how they were breaking it down. Literally.
And not only that, but literally, so think about, coming back to the industry shit, right? And I've said this on panels too before, and it's, it's gotten mixed reactions, but think about what Drake actually represents. Drake is hip hop for white people. That's their introduction to the art form is Drake. When I was coming up in high school, everybody, I went to a predominantly white high school. Everyone was banging Drake. Everyone was 6:15 in the morning. They'll go by two and claim they got it for their sister. Stuff like that, right? That is white people's introduction to hip hop. So what made this so viral and so bigger than a rap beef to the point where Kendrick can get a Super Bowl halftime show is because it involved that industry plant. It involved the industry darling. It involved, white America's version of hip hop. And I say white America's version because a lot of my white friends, they don't listen to Kendrick Lamar the way that I do. So this is when they're man, they're trading shots, and I'm like, dude, they've been doing this since Good Kid, Mad City.
Right.
They this has been going on. And mind you, I'm saying this having already decoded Drake and Kendrick 4 years before. So the weirdest thing has been people popping up on TikTok saying they've gone and watched the YouTube videos and they're like, yo, you are either a time traveler or I don't know how you figured this out, but this is nuts. It sounds like you recorded it with all the information.
No, bro. No, and definitely, man, you wasn't alone. You definitely wasn't alone though, because even at that time, because what I said, even for me, I didn't really foresee what you saw between the Buried Alive and the Poetic Justice. But for me, I saw it coming with family ties. For some strange reason, when you break that down, I told everybody on the pod at the time, I was like, yo, he's coming for that man. And again, when I said that around that time, everybody looked and laughed at me. They was like, oh man, there's no way he's stopping Drake. I'm all like, okay, it's just a matter of time.
It's a matter of time.
Just a matter of time. And then Lord and behold, it happened. And then how we said, how we just literally unpacked Buried Alive and Poetic Justice. And when you go back again, those two reference lines, the reference line I said, have you ever walked an enemy down with a poker face? And then the line that you said, my homie taught me the shot of Drake. I pointed down enough, and like, you know, I wasn't I wasn't
the very first time I shot you Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said, today I won't make the same mistakes. So like them lines,
it went over everyone's head. And that comes back to the Heart Part 3, right? Like, you go back and listen to the Heart Part 3, he's asking, like, he literally says in the Heart Part 3, I never thought your favorite rapper would want to verse. He got hit 25 times with a K. He didn't get hit with an AK 25 times. He got hit with a Kendrick 25 times. And then he goes, make the decision, ride the beat or ride in a hearse. Like, this, again, coming back to, like, you know, Money Trees, you know, when he says, like, Hollywood or salvation, pick your lane. Like, Hollywood or hallelujah, or Halle Berry, hallelujah.
Yeah.
You know, and that, it's all coded. And that, again, like, I'm telling you, Drake's people did not understand these lyrics. They did not understand what he was saying because, like, and then I'm telling you, whoever was handling Drake immediately got fired because
had to be
for him. and then at the end of Heart Part 3, you know, you got to remember, like, this is coming out like boom, 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 you know, all within like 11 months of each other. For Kendrick to sit there at the end and ask the listener, like, after saying, like, you know, I put my life in these 12 songs. Like, this is the newer miseducation. Like, you know, you could tell he's so upset that he has to code his messages now because now he's initiated into the industry. He asked the listener, will you let hip hop die on October 22nd? And that's when Good Kid, Mad City drops. And he's not asking himself, he's asking the listener.
Right.
Yeah, clap it up.
Man.
He's asking the listener, are you gonna let this down? Are you not gonna get it now that my message is coded?
Nah, man.
Are you not gonna do what I did? It's like it's goosebumps, dude. Like it's a whole, like, so that's when, you know, and coming back to like TNX, like when he says like someone whacked out my mural, but like it's not him going at the person who physically whacked out his mural. He's talking about, like, you know, like, and the funniest part about this is, like, Andrew Schultz snitched on himself and goes, what, the guy can't take a joke? And it's like, if you look at the bar surrounding, you know, like, don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman, that's law. I know propaganda work for them. And fuck whoever that's close to them. The dudes that groom, or the dudes that coon, and the dudes that been groom and slide on both of them. He's talking about Charlemagne, and he's talking about DJ Envy and his Ponzi scheme having ass.
Right.
So it's like, he's not talking about a physical mural being whacked out. He's talking about the media not respecting his art, not telling the full story. And that comes full circle back to, like, why I'm talking about this stuff again.
No, that's a fact.
I'm telling you, there's certain dog whistles, like, in this new album, like, I still got to, like, go through and decode it, but, like, we're catching them, where I'm telling you, I know this sounds crazy, again, white man talking about a black man's lyric. I'm telling you, he's dog whistling back to that decoding Drake and Kendrick video, the first one that we did.
Just like TV off. Just like TV off. Everybody thinking he's yelling mustard, but he said he's yelling muster. Mustard in the English book of dictionary, it means it's when a group of people come together. That's why he yelled mustard, not mustard, mustard. Like, eventually the people are gonna start waking up and going to start seeing that, and even just decoding it, and even just going back to, like, whacked out murals. Like, you know, when he said, like, you know, when that happened to most people, you know, they moved to overseas. So, but if you're a real hip hop head and you're a real purist to the culture, like what he said, man, like, that shit's normal to me. That shit don't bother me. That shit is normal to me. That shit don't scare me. You know what I'm saying? Nope. So even decoding the lines, and even just, you know, him making a rebuttal. So even, I don't know if everybody caught the rebuttal when he was rebuttaling to fucking J. Cole on Port Antonio, when J. Cole was like, oh yeah, I'm a loser, bro. Their blood might be spilled, and Man in the Garden, Kendrick turns around and said, there will be more blood spilled.
Yeah, it's just paint to me.
Yeah.
Because he's paint. And then because he deserves it all. Like, you're literally seeing it play out in real time. Like, he's saying, like, I deserve the credit. I deserve to be the greatest of all time because of everything. It's the whole picture. Like, it's all of his career. And then that's when he says, like, tell me why you think you deserve the greatest of all time. You come and take this spot from me. Like, that's him saying, like, I deserve it all, period. And even coming back to, like, it's just crazy. Like, you go through, you look at that first YouTube video, I'm telling you, he's like, I literally say in that first YouTube video, I forget where on the timestamp, but I say, KendrickLamar just strikes me as someone, this is word for word verbatim what I say. I say, KendrickLamar strikes me as someone who just pays his homage and minds his business. And then he puts the first thing in, like, on Whacked Out Murals. Like, I'm telling you, there are certain things, like certain dog whistles that this man has laced into his music, and I think it's because not only do I see what he's doing with his art and, like, what he's calling attention to, which is problems in his industry, but also, like, after doing the decoding Drake and Kendrick thing, like I said, we dropped it. Like, we were just like, okay, cool. Like, it's just something that we did. We found it's free game for everybody. And then we kept it pushing. Like, we just kept making content just for us. And a lot of my content on my page talks about how radio personalities literally push propaganda for money. Like, and then he talks about that on Watch the Party Die.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, there's so many dog whistles where it's like, I think this man has watched my stuff. I think he's watched our videos, and I think he's putting the lyrics in there for us to decode again, because it's like, yeah, like, I see it. I see this clear picture, and it's now time to get everybody else to see the clear picture. Because again, coming back to what I asked earlier, like, did we ever really like Drake, or was it just the manufactured bullshit for us to eat up?
Oh, that's facts. No, that's definitely all facts, man. Like, for real, man. But Tony, my brother, I just want to say thank you for joining me on this, man, and, like, really doing this with me, man. Because, like, it just lets me know that, like, you know, a lot of us out here not alone when we see this, and just us being in this media space, like, the masses need to hear this. The masses need to see this, man. Like, for real though.
Yeah,
so, like,
100%.
man,
and
like,
they gotta stop whacking out this man's mural, please. Like, if I see more TikTok creators get on there and just be like, well, it's just two rappers battling for the top spot. No.
No.
Sidestep in the music.
No,
Please,
exactly.
go listen to the tracks again.
Exactly. But yeah, man, let them know where they can find you at, man. All your social media handles, big dog. Let them know where they can find me at.
I think my @ on TikTok is @ the Anthony Embrioni Show. I got to change it, or you can look it up, Tony Baloney. My kids call me that. My name is Anthony. Or, you know, I think Instagram is like @ Anthony Does Radio, even though I don't do radio anymore. I really got to get back.
Oh, no, yeah, you got to, man. You got to, man, because that inspires people, you know, people like us, like, you know, like, doing, like, what we do, you know what I'm saying? And it's just all here and all fun for the love and the culture, man, though. But, yeah, man, I just want to say I appreciate you, man, one time. And, yeah, man, we'll be definitely talking more and soon, man. Straight up.
I think he's got another album coming. So
yes, you definitely do. Yeah, there's no denying that. We see that.
Yep. Hit his turf, get it cracking, double back like a deluxe. That's gonna be. I'll leave you with my prediction. That's the line that really stuck out to me. Hit his turf, get it cracking, double back like a deluxe. I think he drops that second part of GNX that he was teasing right when he does that show in Toronto on Father's Day.
Oh yeah, because I mean,
I think that's when that's coming back.
Oh no, yeah, because I mean, if you're a real, like what I tell people, if you're a real fan of hip hop and just a real fan of the Purists, the reason why he put that Nate Dogg album up, it was called G-Funk Classics Volume 1 and 2. That was a double disc album. Like, if you didn't see that Easter egg, I don't know what else to tell you.
Man, you want to see another Easter egg? That the chandelier in the beginning of the Squabble Up video is the same chandelier that's in our Decoding Drake and Kendrick video.
Wow.
And it's the chandelier that's in Drake's house.
Wow.
And then the kid riding the tricycle is wearing a Detroit Pistons hat. Just saying. And I'm from Detroit. I'm just saying, if Kendrick's listening to this, I'm ready to talk.
Right. Though, man. But dog, like I said, man, again, man, I definitely appreciate it. You coming on, man, doing this, man, and everything, man. Though, but yeah, man. I just want to let the listeners know, man, like, you know, thank y'all continue to support the show. We are at 43, like I said, on the road to 5K. We're not too far from 5K. So go ahead and tell a friend that tells a friend that tells another friend. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Podbean, you name it, we are fucking on it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Literally, yes.
I appreciate you having me on.
Oh yeah, man. No, absolutely, man. Though, but until then, this is your boy Skeeter Steve. Lace Rhymes, we out. Peace.
Later.